Welcome back to the channel. All right, it's time for the 54th edition to the general tier list. We've been updating this monthly. Myself, the MCoC Illuminati, the Spreadsheet Wizards, all of our collective knowledge, experience goes into this sheet, and we produce it every single month for you. Please hit like, hit subscribe, and if you're just here for the sheet, I get it, man. Time is valuable. If you could, at a minimum, subscribe, hit like, share this out, tell everyone about it. Be really, really helpful. As a lot of us put in a ton of time and effort and energy to get this out for you every single month. We'll be talking about the champions, of course, the new champions, and then we'll do a slight overview of the demotions, promotions, and remember, that's what I'm making my videos about. We're doing the stocks up. We did the Guardians. I think you're going to be shocked, and a lot of you really were. And I did avoid that pun in the video, actually, there. So give me a little bit of credit on that one. The first champion we're going to talk about as we cover the science tier is going to be the Overseer. Now, he's not going to be a pure, like, hey, rank him now. You got to have him sort of champion. But stocks are up. He's always been good if you're in the stocks up, or if we do the inverse, the stocks down sort of video, they're still good. They've always been good. They've always been powerful. But what they're doing is ask for more and more and more. And this is going to be through nodes if we start seeing repetitive nodes or scenarios or situations, but primarily through defensive asks. And that really does fit with Overseer. I think a lot of you are probably familiar with like B McG showing how good he is for Zola, those sorts of things. One of the few champions in the game that can reliably heavy into Zola's heavy. And when you can't stun Zola, you have a lot of problems with some of these other champions, right? So the Overseer is a phenomenal champion, always been good. I love him. And like I said, in the next week or two, depending on when you see this one, there should be an Overseer video out from me. Stocks rising, not in the highest tier, but definitely rising, always good. So keep that in mind. And that is it for the science tier. I said the science tier, but obviously I meant the science class. Moving on to the skill class. We have two champions we'll talk about relatively quickly. In the skill class, I may have spoken again, but you guys can see the screen. We're talking about skill. And the first champion we're going to talk about is Okoye. Now, I've done, we did every June, every December, I do the top 10s, and that's my own personal. It shows my own bias, my experience, who I have, the way I'm playing the game, and those sorts of things. And I didn't place her in the highest tier in the skill class. And quite a few pointed that out. You're like, hey, I think you're wrong on this one. And that's one of the fun things about those videos, to be honest. I enjoy reading the comments and kind of having that conversation with you all. But as I said in the video, I just want to see her left alone for a few months. This champion has like never, apparently, according to Kabam, worked the way they want her to, the way she's supposed to. And we're like multiple months into this. I would like to see her left alone for like 2 or 3 months. And at that point in time, maybe we will put her out, because I did the new champion video. It's like the damage is phenomenal. It's amazing. It's insane. It's ridiculous. It's whatever word you want to use that you guys have fun with it, with me on that. And that's fine. I like those jokes, actually. So once that happens, I'm not going to say we're going to fully reevaluate her, but I'm open to the idea that maybe she should be a little bit higher up. But I do want to see that. I will also say, though, this is that we're coming off of a situation where she could do like the Okoye lock, or like it seems like Kabam keeps being like, ooh, that damage, that's not what we meant. You know what? I know what we said, but what we really meant was, or this was obviously just worded poorly. You'd be like, did no one proofread it? Y'all know you wrote it, right? I just want to have her left alone for a few months, okay? I'm going to move into Elena Belova. I literally today, and I'm recording this about a week earlier from when it goes out, because I'm going on vacation. I'm going to be gone the whole week, and we're having the big sale on Friday, and I'm not going to be able to record it. But I want to make sure this is out for you. Elena Belova, I found out literally 24 hours ago, or over 24 hours ago, that a Kabam dev on their own personal live stream, not like an authorized source of information for Kabam, not on their Trello board, not on their live stream, not on their MCoC official Discord, not on their official forums, and not on their in-game mail. Now, maybe Kabam has added a 6th official place to get Kabam news, because you know how much they hate leaks, right? Like, we hear that all the time. They hate leaks, they hate leakers, those are bad, those are horrible, those are bad, because it's disrespectful of other people's work, and it takes away the enjoyment of a lot of players and these sorts of things. But apparently on this Kabam personal YouTube channel and live stream, and that she's apparently bugged, and she is currently not reducing damage. I believe it's in elimination mode of red damage, in particular to the disintegration damage, I believe it is, of Bastion and future Ant-Man, or the reroute, or whatever. So that's pretty limited, right? But as seen by Okoye, as seen by Kingpin, as seen by Zemo, as seen by Luke Cage and how he interacted with Serpent's signature ability, Like, we could go on and on and on, but I'm trying to make these videos more efficient for you all. The band can do whatever they want, and they will use any justification that they want. And sometimes it'll be, you know, the intent of the designer. Sometimes it'll be the way it was worded. And sometimes it'll be, well, it was worded wrong. And sometimes it'll be that this was a bug. And sometimes it'll be that the order of operations were not correct. And sometimes it'll be, we allowed this for 6 months. And sometimes it'll be, we knew about this for 3 years. But in our post, we're going to pretend we didn't know about it. And I like to make fun of them and give them a lot of crap for it. Because, and so what I'll say about Yelena is, this is where she's currently rated. Is that going to make a massive difference in her defensive prowess? Probably not. But it does remove 2 options from some very powerful attackers that people were probably using as a way to get her down. She is a very, very tough fight. You want Daunted when you fight her in general. I'll be working on a how to fight Yelena video, which is part of why I'm paying so much attention to this, because again, the player experience, when we're learning how to fight her, and not just me, you on your own, and you're doing things or you're considering ranking up, it's nice to know that she's going to work that way again tomorrow. And apparently she might or might not. I did check the Trello board in all those places, and I see no word on this. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you guys, and I am sorry about that. Like, as someone who likes to report the game and try to have fun with it, it's nice to be able to know you can report accurate information. I know all the information I've reported to you up to now on this is accurate, but unfortunately, I can't tell you what she's going to be like next week or in the future. And I know some of you are like, that's extreme. Think of Shocker, and that came out of nowhere. Or Kingpin, and that came out of nowhere. Offensively, you just want her awakened. She's pretty good. All right, let's move on to the next class. Moving on to the next class, in Mutant, we're going to talk about Dust, and this is a promotion. If you saw my top 10s, you know what a fan of Dust I am. You know, I've been a fan of her for a long time. She's one of those champions that's like more than the sum of her parts. She's so well put together. She has triple immunity. She has the passive grit. Her damage source is so good. It feels like war maps. You know, there's the new map and then the new old map and then the new map. And then we're going to go back to the new old map that they spent years working on to then replace it 2 months later. But we're going back to that apparently, and we'll find out what happens in the future. And then the Battlegrounds meta is just keep emphasizing her. And remember, we don't react too much to meta, right? But I can say with confidence, what it's done is it's highlighted how powerful she is defensively, because even in a just pure nuke meta, you still often want a hard counter for her, right? Like Jack-o'-lantern or something like that we've shown, or Ironheart. And even Ironheart is a little slower in a pure nuke meta. We just don't get those often. But then on the offensive side, again, triple immunities, the passive grit, the damage source that no one is immune to, the ability to purify her own debuffs. This is kind of like a Kushala S, a different version of it. But yeah, she's better against the skill champions who are purifying them, but she can be used without that. She's a phenomenal champion. She has her own like power efficiency sort of thing where she does special 2 and she's already at her SB1, and she's just a great champion. She's not as like blunt force powerful shut it down as I think Onslaught, Mr. Sinister, and Dazzler, but again, she is great. I promise you guys, I am working on a video for her. The reason why it still hasn't come out is like, she's, like I said, this more than the sum of her parts. And when you're doing a YouTube video and if I like show you this fight, you'll be like, oh, that's pretty good. And I show you another one and you're like, that's also good, I guess. I don't know, man. This is getting a little boring. Like, she's just one of those ones where you need people to understand. They got to watch the whole video to really get it. And she's great, though. I know there's a lot of Dust fans out there. If you're one, let me know. And then in the second column, Microphone Captain Britain, she's not very good at all. I feel badly for summoners like Grass, new addition to MCoC Illuminati. Thank you, Grass, for sharing your knowledge, buddy. Thanks for being here. Captain Britain, I feel badly because he's a big fan. Defensive ass, or basically don't shock her and don't crit her. That's it. Moving over to Jean Grey, though, she's a great offensive champion, right? We've covered her at length. We covered her in our new champion video. A lot of you are getting her now, seeing that power. She's one of my most wanted. By the time this video goes live, I hope I've pulled her, because I have a feeling there'll be a lot of Titan crystals in what's essentially the July 4th sale. And I will want her awakened, really helpful with her against those skilled champions who you are wanting to use her against. And remember, her neuroshocks do not only do damage, but they also prevent miss. I've done the video on how to defeat her. In my opinion, it is a phenomenal video. She is a menacing defender and dual threat in Battlegrounds. If you have any questions about how to fight her, and not just in Battlegrounds, war, anything, I show you a variety of options and talk you through how to do it. I think you should check it out. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next class. The next class is tech, and if you watched my top 10s this month, and hopefully you did, every June, every December, I do my own personal top 10s. It's just mine. It shows my bias, my experience, way I am, the champions I've pulled, and those sorts of things. You know that the tech class, I was like, they've become my favorite class. Don't let the Mystic class hear that; they'll get very upset because they've been my favorite for like 8 years. But I think it actually is tech, and a lot has to do, and I will admit, with the development of the Mutant class. In fact, it's very fitting that they're both on the page right now. Here, good, we didn't lose any. And a lot of that is even champions like Captain Britain, who I don't think do much, but they do help give value to what the tech class does. Now, just to be abundantly clear, I'm not saying I want Serpent. He's way too far. I've said this, you've heard me say this, like, do you, Kabam, have to create all the design space in one champion, which Serpent did, right? Like, it's still happening. Like, we got Nico, who we'll get to, right? Is like, what happened is that all these mutant champions have like gentle ass. Yes, that pun was not intended, but you get it was pretty good. They have these small ass, like Jean Grey, reverse controls, those sorts of things. Dust, incinerating her is really great. Plasma, that sort of thing, right? Captain Britain, she kind of shuts it down. I don't like how like not smooth it feels. It feels a little fabricated to me, but still, she's saying, don't crit me, don't put shocks on me, all right? And that just gives more value, more places to use these very strong tech champions. They've always been good, but this is what we talk about when we talk about the meta on this channel, is like their meta relevance. What they do is being asked for more and more from the tougher defenders that Kabam is putting into the game. That applies to Ironheart, that applies to Bastion, that applies to Jack-O-Lantern, that definitely applies to Guardian. I've done videos on all of them recently. Hopefully you've seen them. The Bastion one is a new champion video. I've pulled him. He is unawakened. I've taken him to rank 3. I know by the time this video comes out, there'll be at least one short from me. Check it out. He is very, very good. And like I said, this is just what they do is being asked for more and more. And look at this. We even got Red Skull, Sentinel, Shocker, also moving up. Stark Spider-Man, if you're a Battlegrounds player, I get it. He's probably the best one in your opinion, but this isn't just about Battlegrounds. If you unclicked all of them, usually Battlegrounds up, or you check my Battlegrounds tier list, you'll see he's the highest rated on the attacker tier list. All right, let's move on to the next class. Next class is Cosmic, and we have the one new champion this month, Karolina Dean. I want to be as concise and clear on this as possible. Is in my Jew champion video on her, I did allude to, I thought that there would be a lot of showcases showing immense, tremendous damage. And not that it's not real, it is, okay? It is very, very real. I chose not to show those. And a lot of this is because like, I don't ever want to mislead you. And if I think if anything could be misleading, I'm not going to show it. Sometimes I make mistakes, of course, over the course of all these years. And one of the things with Karolina is that I likened her to a Hyperion, like an upgraded new power crept Hyperion, a very updated one. And that's because of the potential of her massive power gain. Now, one of the things that makes Hyperion so broken feeling, but also very dated, is that he just keeps gaining the power. Like you don't have to do anything. He just keeps gaining it and gaining it and gaining it. But then he's got the RNG ass of his Furies and those sorts of things. Karolina, there's an RNG scope to where the sun is, right? You want to be staying in the sun and you don't know where that's going to land. And in incredibly tough fights, like Bullseye, like Yelena Belova, it can land behind them, okay? It's just as likely, depending on where you're in the map, to land behind them as it is to land behind you. If it lands behind you, yes, of course, you can just back up and keep gaining power. But if it lands behind them, that means you need to either hope the AI just decides to back up, or you need to hit them, Yelena, sometimes into the block, which you don't want to be doing, right? You need to be hitting them, which again, combo is very important to Yelena, power, very important to Bullseye. And then, yes, she does have the glancing mechanic, which will be very helpful to against both of them. But again, just be really careful with that. And when you think about like Battlegrounds, you don't have the ability to run synergies, and you don't have the ability to change your mastery to like a purely offensive setup, because you need to place defense as well, or you have other champions where you're wanting things like Mystic Dispersion or Deep Wounds. That's why I didn't show any of you to that. If I ever do showcases like that, which they're very cool, and they are, that's like fun and how you play the game sometimes. I get it. I want to be clear. I'm not putting those sorts of showcases down. I think they're great and they have their place in this. What I'm trying to really get across to you, though, is make sure you know what you're getting with her. And that if you want to pull off those things, you may need to boost or put almost all your mastery points into the offensive tree or run synergies with her. And also, RNG of where the sun is may really, really mess up your fight. As we get more skilled with her, and I called this out in my video, as we get more skilled with her and more used to using the sun mechanic, you will be able to significantly mitigate the problems that can arise from various RNG, like where the sun shows up on the map. She is a great champion. And I feel a little badly that I'm talking about all of this, but again, my priority is you, the viewers, and I want to make sure you know my thoughts and what's going on in my evaluation. And I'm always would much rather be wrong on the low side than tell you a champion's better than I thought they were, and we find out that they're not. She's great. I could see her rising in the Scorching tier. I honestly don't think we see her going to tier above all. If I'm wrong, that'll be a happy mistake on my part. And then the final class is Mystic. And after all of that, me like wanting to be wrong on the low side and all that stuff, we've got Nico Minoru sitting at the top. Hopefully you saw my video, right? Calling her the best Mystic champion. I've done this twice in new champion testing. One was in Deathless Thanos. The other one was in Hulkling. That turned out pretty well. The other time where I've been like, hey, the new best champion in a class was Kate Bishop in skill. My track record's pretty good, okay? If you think of one where I'm wrong, because sometimes we suppress our mistakes, you let me know. I'm very open to the idea that I've been wrong before. And what makes her the best is she's just as default good as every champion in that tier. Tigra, Kushala, Shothra, America Chavez, you guys can read the list. In fact, I think she might be default better than them for our game in general. But she just hard counters. Dark Phoenix, Serpent, she has the halt offer of her SB1, she has the miss mechanic, she has a buff immunity debuff that she puts on the opponent, right? That just shuts down all buffs. This is an ability that we for years have been told was irresponsible and way too strong to ever be put in the game. And not only does Nico, like Clairvoyant, have the ability to get it off of her SB2, but Nico actually has a pre-fight that allows you to start the fight with it. And all you have to do is throw a special, any special. You don't have to go all the way back to your special 2. You can just throw your special 1 and it refreshes that. I want to be clear. I think she's great. And I love that Kabam has stopped bashing Broccoli and started opening up themselves to the idea that maybe these ideas were really, really good and they can grow the game from this. She is phenomenal. She's well made. She is a delight to play. She answers the big bads in Cosmic, and to me, Serpent is still way too far. But the other ones, she answers them as well too. That's a great way to go out for this tier list. For this month's tier list is Nico Minoru, my opinion, just as powerful as all the other mystics in that class, and by far, and I mean by far, the most meta relevant of all of them. As usual, let me know what you think you got wrong. Let me know what you think you got right too. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.